Oh my. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario. Welcome back to another episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups. In case you do not know, this is a series here that I do on my second channel. Yes, I did say second channel, where this is, of course, a second channel. My main channel, Mr. Mario 2011, is linked down below in the description for more gaming related stuff, more in the realm of modding and all of that, with a little bit more editing here. But this is more of a second channel series where I like to pick up video game related stuff, accessories, get good deals and all that from yard sales, thrift shops, game stores, wherever it might be, local pickups. So whenever I get a few things of interest, I decide to make an episode here with my dog Lily. Hello, Lily. Anyways, what we do is we kind of just sit here. We have treats. Lily, do you want to come over here? Actually, can you come over here, please? There we go. We give her some treats and she ends up enjoying herself, and we just kind of sit around and talk about pickups here. Now, I am going to say first and foremost that these were all pickups, but some of them are placeholders. That means that they are my items, but they were actually pickups that I had found with friends for friends, and the stories were just, good enough that I wanted to share them on here. So either way, what we're going to do is we're going to sit down. We're going to give Lily another treat here, and we're going to get into all of these pickups that I got. So a few of them are from just some local sales, some, I guess, meetups like swap meets and stuff, and yeah, we'll get right into this. Either way, let's see what I'm going to tackle first. I kind of want to do it. You know what? Let's just do the newest stuff here. How about that? So we're going to work up that way, newest to oldest. So I actually literally just like a few minutes ago, came from I guess you could say overall, like, it was similar to a swap meet. It wasn't called a swap meet, but it was similar to one where there was just a bunch of vendors that were selling stuff. Now, a lot of it was collectibles, but also included in that were a few video game vendors, which I was thankful actually there were only a few, because that meant that I didn't pay attention to most of the vendors, meaning that most of my money was saved, but there were only a few vendors that I was really like zeroed in on, and I was actually able to find stuff that I was pretty happy with picking up. Right, Lily? Lily, do you want this last treat? Okay, you're not going to get any more right now, so there you go. Either way, I ended up picking up from the video game vendors. I think there were only 3, I want to say, and I bought something from all of them. So first of all, this was actually the last thing that I picked up here. It is a brand new sealed copy of Persona 5 Strikers. Looks like bonus content is included here as well too. Now, I actually do have this game on PlayStation 4, and I guess backwards compatible through PS5. I do have this on the PlayStation 4 thanks to PlayStation Plus, but it's just a digital version. And because honestly, I've been holding off on getting this, because I still haven't finished Persona 5 or even started Royal. However, because of the latest announcement with Persona 5 Royal coming over to Switch, I've actually been really wanting that game to come to Switch. I know I will play it on there, so I decided to pick this up, and I've just kind of been waiting for the right price. So the right price for this for me was $20, and it being brand new was even better. I did even look it up just to see how much it was going for, and currently at the time of recording this, I was finding it online brand new for like $28, $29. So I said, you know what? For a brand new complete copy of this for $20, I'll go ahead and grab that. So again, decided to grab Persona 5 Strikers. So that was the last pickup technically that I got. Hello, Lily, you're just gonna lay down? That works out. Yeah, you're gonna lay down for Persona 5. There you go. That's fine. There was another vendor that I had gone to, and I ended up getting these two. Now, they had several boxes and kind of bins and stuff, and they had some higher priced items that were individually labeled, but then they had some stuff like this that was just kind of in a box, and it was a $3 box, so $3 for every item in there. And there was a lot of stuff that I already had or stuff that I didn't need. However, I ended up seeing these two. Surprisingly, I found a cartridge-only copy of Mario Kart DS, a game that I surprisingly do not have, so I decided to pick up. And I also never ever seen this or even knew about its existence, the cliffhanger demo for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, I had no idea this was a thing at all, and honestly, I do have a little bit of weakness for one-off demo discs like this. I absolutely love them. If I can find them for pretty affordable prices, I do pick them up. And hey, the colors are kind of like Lily there. Either way, I end up seeing the two of these in this bin, and I just asked, hey, will you take $5 for the pair? He said yes, so there we go. To get the demo and this Mario Kart DS game, it was $5. So I was pretty happy with that. Then I would say my biggest pickup was from the first video game vendor that I ended up going to, and I ended up getting several games from there. So first of all, I got this, I was surprised. I got like newer stuff when I was there. I ended up getting Switch games. So first of all, I got Vampire, I guess you can say that, or Vampire. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but either way, this came out and then I didn't hear that much from it afterwards. It seemed to be an alright game from what I can see, and I've been wanting it on Switch just because I like the Switch and I've kind of just been waiting for the price to drop on there. And funny enough, actually, there are games here that I've been waiting to get for a while, and I was really happy to be able to find them. So I ended up finding Vampire. It's in pretty great shape for 15 bucks. I also end up getting Metro Redux, and I always miss this game. Whenever it is on sale for the Switch, I always miss it. I always seem to miss it, and I'm never able to pick it up. I've been wanting to pick it up, but I've just been wanting to pay not that much money for it, in all honesty. But it is the first two Metro games, which I very much enjoy, so it would be nice to play them portably on the Switch. 15 bucks for that. And then Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. Now, I've only played this a little bit on the 360, but it's one of those games that everyone who played it seemed to really love it, and it seemed to get pretty positive reviews, but it just didn't make as much of a splash as it could have because the time it came out, and it didn't sell as well to, I think it was published under EA at the time, so it didn't sell as well to their standards, and we just never got any sequels from it, even though there were sequels planned. But we have gotten the Re-Reckoning, which is, the remaster of it. So I decided to pick this up on Switch here, and it kind of just verifies for me further that the Switch in a way is kind of like a portable Xbox 360 in terms of the games that we're getting like re-released and remastered on there, and I don't see a problem with that because I absolutely love the 360. Look, I got a 360 game right here. But either way, I was surprised to see I do not own this game, so I decided to pick this up as well. It was $15. Now, this is not a game here. This is case only, as you can see. But here we have Dead or Alive 6. This is the steelbook of it, and my girlfriend loves steelbooks. She likes to collect them, so I had seen this. I will open it up as well too. I'd seen this. I thought it was in pretty good shape for what it was, and the guy even told me, he said, yeah, I already have a steelbook of it, so I just decided to sell my other one. But it's cool. This doesn't even look like a Dead or Alive game to me, in all honesty, funny enough. But yeah, this is for Dead or Alive 6. So this was $15, and I am going to, there's kind of a story with this as well too. Those aren't the final prices is what I'm saying. So $15 for each of those items there. Then I end up getting some other items from him too, and he even said, hey, if you're getting a few things from me, I'll make you a deal. I said, awesome. So surprisingly, I never had Gex on the PlayStation. I think I've played it for a little bit, but I've never actually owned it. And I'm actually surprised to see it does not have any save game ability, so I'm guessing it is a password game system, but seems to be complete, seems to be in good condition for $5 for something I don't own. I said, you know what, I'll go ahead and grab it. And right here, oh, Lily, there's some food right there. Look, Lily, there. Look, you don't care. Okay. I end up getting a Crazy Taxi as well. Now, I didn't get the game itself. As you can see, this says case manual only, and this gentleman had a big stack of games like this, and I decided to get this for $5 because I already have the game, but I don't have everything else. Several years ago, I had gone to a game shop, and I picked up a disc-only version of Crazy Taxi for probably $3, something like that. And the funny thing is, this is something I just saw on my shelf the other day too. So I said, you know what? I'll go ahead and get this for $5. I can make it complete. Why not? And I like Crazy Taxi, so there we go. Got Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast for $5. Well, at least the case, so now I have it all complete. And the last thing I end up seeing, which this will need a new case, but that is fine, I end up seeing Frogger for the PS1, and this has everything except it is technically broken because it doesn't have a top case. So I can just, grab a case from something else that I have that I don't care as much for, and then I will be able to fix this up. but this is a good game. It is complete, and it was $3. So altogether, this entire stack here was $73. And I went up to the gentleman's wife, and because he was busy at the time, and I just went up to her and I asked, hey, this is all the stuff I want to get. Will you take 60 for it? And she looked at it, she said, sure, I'll take 60. So that is why, even though the prices are on here, that was not the final price. So from $73 to 60, I was perfectly happy with all of these games that I ended up getting here, and I guess a steelbook as well too. Awesome. Now, for these other items, a friend and I, it's actually the one I've mentioned a few times. He ended up, I was the one who he was looking for the Max Payne games, and I got him Max Payne 3 in a previous episode. I was able to find that for $7, thankfully. So what ended up happening was him and I ended up going to another marketplace, and there were just several vendors there as well too. We were just checking it out, and we were looking for, they kind of sell a bit of everything, but we were looking for video game stuff, of course, as well. So what happened was there was one place where it was kind of a little bit of a thrift shop setup, and they just had a bunch of general games and movies and music and all that. So I was looking around, and I saw Quake 4 for Xbox 360. Now, the game itself, from what I remember, it was okay. The loading times were pretty crazy on this. Not the best, but this is actually the first 360 game I ever purchased, funny enough. So I had it years ago, I sold it years ago. I was surprised to see that I did not pick it back up, and I think I remember why. Because every time I've seen it, I've never been able to see a complete copy of it. Now, I'm not just talking about the artwork and the manual and everything, I'm talking about this right here, the bonus disc. And in case you do not know, let me put you onto this, right? Quake 4, this is Quake 4 itself, all good. But on this bonus disc, it contains, before they were called remasters, it contains a full Xbox 360 native port and remaster of Quake 2, and it is great. It just came included with this. Like, it was awesome. And the thing is, I've seen Quake 2 Quake 4 so many times, but I don't really see it with the bonus disc anymore. And this is even the original sleeve it came in. Like, it did not have one of those flaps. It came in a sleeve like this. I know this because I bought the game brand new years and years ago before I sold it, and it came like this. So I was really happy to be reunited with it in this fashion. So even though I will replay Quake 4 at one point, I was definitely wanting to get the Quake 2 port on here as well, because even Digital Foundry covered this years ago, and I had no idea about this, and this was kind of mind-blowing to me. The Xbox 360 originally came out, if you don't know, it didn't come out with HDMI at the beginning, but it couldn't even do full HD. At the beginning, it could go up to 720p or 1080i, depending on if you wanted progressive or interlaced for your output. 1080p was later patched in. Now, this game was, I believe, one of the launch titles, so it ran at 720p or 1080i. I'm pretty sure it just ran at 720p. However, the cool thing is with Quake 2 is that after the Xbox 360 was patched to run at 1080p output, Quake 2 runs at 1080p. So this is a native 1080p 60 Quake 2 port on the Xbox 360. That's why I'm saying, if you can find Quake 4 complete on the 360, pick it up just for the Quake 2 ports if you have to, because Quake 4 was okay. And even with this, I was actually surprised to see recently, I don't know when this episode will come out, but recently, like when I bought this, I brought it home, I actually looked it up, and I was shocked to see like brand new Quake 4 news. Like 2022, there was news about Quake 4 in 2022, and apparently, I guess id had put out a test version of Quake 4. It was the retail version, but they put it out for free on PC, like on the Microsoft Store or something, and they just said, hey, we just want people to play this and try it out. So I guess as part of, well, it was published by Activision, as a part of all of that, they're working on bringing Quake 4 back, and even though the backwards compatibility program, Microsoft has said they're not adding any more games, I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that we'll get Quake 4 added as a backwards compatibility game, and maybe even Quake 2 as well. That'd be awesome. Either way, that was kind of my spiel on Quake 4 here. Really cool to see, very happy to pick this back up. However, they were selling games there. They were selling one game for $3 or two for $5. And my friend was with me. He was looking around. And he's like, "Hey, do you Is there anything else you want? I said, no, I just want Quake 4. That's it. And he was like, you know what? Because he's like looking at the games too. And this is my own copy. This is a placeholder here. But there was Crimson Skies. And he said, you know what? I want Crimson Skies. I don't have that game. And I said, cool, I'll get it for you. So that's what we did. I ended up paying, I guess $2.50 you could say for this, but for $5 I got Quake 4 and Crimson Skies, and then my friend ended up getting Crimson Skies. So we just get each other back and all that. It's all good, but I was happy to get that for him. Then we ended up going to another shopkeeper, right, Lily? We ended up going to another shopkeeper, and he just had kind of a mishmash of everything, but I looked in his I guess his glass counter, and behind the counter I could see it wasn't, this one is incomplete, this is my own, and this is actually one of the older ones that doesn't have the I guess the rubbers on here that help like not scratch the back of the Switch. So my friend got one of the newer ones. He didn't get the OLED compatible version, but he got the one that works on the original Switch. Point is, on there I end up seeing one of these complete with the box and everything for $10, and I pointed out to my friend, I was like, hey dude, you should get that. And it was very much a thing for me where I knew he didn't have it. I knew he would have liked it, but if he wasn't going to pick it up, I was going to pick it up. But I was giving him first dibs on there. I was, I'm typically that kind of friend. I'm like, hey, this is a really good deal. You should get it. But also if it's something that I could either use or re-gift or, anything else, or even sell or something, I want my friends who are with me who want it to get it first. If they're not going to get it, I'll pick it up. So either way, I saw that and I said it was $10. I was like, dude, you should get it, because he's tried my grip and he really liked it. And then we overhear the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper was like, wait, what's $10? And I said, oh, that right there in the case. He's like, that thing? Oh, I'll give it to you for $5. And I was like, patted my friend on the back. I'm like, yes, get it. Like now, get it now before he changes his mind. So my friend paid $5 for this. The best part was the shopkeeper didn't even know what he had, because after my friend paid, he was like, hey, what is that thing? Like, I've had it for so long and like, I don't know what it is. And my friend said, oh, this is for the Nintendo Switch. It's kind of like a grip that you can put, so you put the console in here and then it just makes it more comfortable. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, it was really cool to see that he got, and it looked like it was, the condition was, it pretty much looked like somebody had bought it, opened it, used it once or twice, and decided they didn't like it, and then decided to sell it for whatever reason. I guess maybe because they didn't like it. But either way, we ended up finding that Satisfy grip, again, a newer one like this, for $5. Shocking to see. And finally, the last item here, which you all are seeing right there, the PlayStation 3. This is again a placeholder because I'm using my own, and it is true to form, my own here. And I'm going to say that because I want y'all to look at this. All right? 4 USB ports and a flap. And even though this is my PS3, it is a placeholder, and it is still true to form for what we ended up finding. So what ended up happening was this here, in case you do not know, is a backwards compatible PlayStation 3. This specifically is a CECHA model PlayStation 3, meaning this is the first retail revision of the PlayStation 3 that released, meaning that it has full backwards compatibility, and on top of that has all the extra bells and whistles, which were Wi-Fi, having this full, how do I say, pretty much this full cast of characters right here, so you could insert a compact flash, a SD card, a memory stick duo or pro duo, and of course you can use USB drives. So this is pretty much, when it comes to retail PS3s, the one that is the most sought after, because it is the original and it is the most feature packed. However, the issue with it as well is that they are prone to failing. Not only they run hotter, but they are old. Like, as much as we don't want to think about it, these are 16-year-old machines right here. Like, they are getting old. So even my own, this thing, it works perfectly, but I baby it. I don't use it that much. I've opened it up, I've cleaned it well, I've repasted it, closed it up, have custom firmware running on it, have fan settings to run it a bit cooler than it should run, and I use it pretty sparingly because I don't want this thing to break. Either way, though, what happened was, after we left the shop to get that, I ended up seeing a guy with a cart full of consoles, like a shopping cart full of consoles, and it was stacked full of Xbox Ones. And I just went up to him. I was like, "Hey, are you selling these systems?" And he kind of said, he's like, "Well, no, but I mean, I'll sell one." And I asked how much he was wanting for them. And he said for the Xbox Ones, he told me right off the bat, he's like, well, hold on, here's the thing. They should work, but they don't have the controllers, they don't have the cables. I said, that's fine, but how much are you looking? And he said, well, for an Xbox One, I'll take $60. So I looked at some of them, and it was the original VCR model Xbox One. I was not interested. Then I look on the side, and I see two PS3s. I see a CECH A01, and the only thing was with it, it had like some stickers on it, it had some damage here, and this flap was missing, unfortunately. So mine is actually in like pretty solid shape, thankfully, and it has everything. It is complete for what it is. So I had seen that there, and I also saw a slim PlayStation 3. Now the Slim, I decided to pass on it because it is a 30,000 model, and that means it can't take custom firmware. It can only take PS3 HIN or HAN, and I don't want to run that. If I buy a PS3 these days, I want it to run custom firmware. So what happened was, literally, that is, she licks her paws a ton. So what happened was I looked at it, and I was holding it, and I looked, and I saw the 4 USB ports, and it was, again, one of those situations where it's like, I have one of these already. But my friend who was with me, he loves the PlayStation 3. He's been wanting a backwards compatible one for a long time. And I was just looking at it, and I was like, dude, do you want this? He was like, what about you? Do you want it? And I was like, I have one. Do you want this? And he said, yeah, sure. So he looked at it, and I guess the story was this guy... actually, I'll just tell you the price on here anyway, so I'll tell the story after. Either way, what happened was we were talking, and my friend, he picks up the PS3, he looks at it, and he asks, will you take $40 for this? And the guy said yes. So then we were talking after, and this guy's story was that he buys consoles in bulk from someone else who works on them, fixes them. He seems to be a trusted repair person. This guy, he met up with the console repair person. He bought all these consoles in bulk from him at that location, and then he was just going around like with his family shopping and stuff. But his main goal was he was going to take all the consoles and he was going to ship them back to his home country so he could make a little bit of profit, but more so he wanted to get affordable consoles over to people over there, which I thought was pretty noble and everything. So, you know, right on for him. But either way, this guy said, you know, the PS3 should work. When this guy sells me a system, he sells them as working. I've been buying from him for years. I trust him. If there's any issues, here's my phone number. You can call me. And we said, cool. And I pretty much just told my friend, I said, look, you're going to be taking a risk on this, but like, you know, if it works, hey. And the cool thing was, so... the good news is he got a fully backwards compatible CCHA for PS3 for $40. The bad news is he then had to carry it around in a hot building all around for like 2 hours. And this thing is heavy, mind you. Carry this under your arm for 2 hours in the hot sun or something. It is heavy. So he looked exhausted. Like he could see the pain. Like you could see the pain on his face, right? He looked like he was in pain. But either way, when we eventually got back to his house, it looked pretty good. It looked clean and all that. We hooked it up. Everything worked. It looked like it was mostly used as a Blu-ray player because it had some game saves on it. It had no apps on there. It had no games, is what I should say. It had no games installed. It only had like video-based apps and such. So it just looked like it was really used as a media player and Blu-ray player. Fortunately, like... so it wasn't really used for games, but unfortunately it had a ton of hours on it, like a ton of hours. I think when we finally end up looking at the system stats, it had been running over its lifetime for like 79 days, something like that. So what happened was, of course, we turned it on, it worked, we connected it online, we got it updated. It was on firmware 4.80, so everything was working except the only thing that didn't work is that Blu-ray discs didn't work. So games did not work, but like PS3 games. But PS1 games worked. PS2 games worked. So to me, that means there's physically 2 lasers on the laser assembly for the PS3. The CD DVD laser was fine. The Blu-ray laser itself was out. So he could replace it if he wants to, and I did tell him, hey, you should open this thing up, you should clean it, repaste it, all that stuff, and I'm gonna have to help him with that because he's not super confident with the original CCHA models. But what happened was, of course, we tested it, we made sure it worked, and then we jailbroke it right there. I showed him a little bit how to use the custom firmware, and he was familiar because he already has one, but because he has two PS3s. He has a fat one that is completely stock, and he has a slim one that's been jailbroken. But he has been using an old custom firmware on that, so he was shocked to see like 4.89 EvoNet, how far everything has come, and he was very impressed. I got the fan settings dialed in for him, like we were all good at that point. So even honestly, what I'm saying is, even if it doesn't play Blu-ray discs, he's sorted because he's got another PS3 Slim that's jailbroken, so he can rip his PS3 games that way, and he doesn't have to open up the Blu-ray drive. Like, that's okay. As long as he realized that limitation, it's fine. But either way, I was super happy to be able to find that for him. So we were very happy that day with all of our pickups. But yeah, as for this episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups, that's been it. That's been all the stuff I got. These were the stories here. I hope you all enjoyed watching. I hope you all got some entertainment out of this episode, and that's about it. Anyways, it's Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, a like would absolutely be appreciated. And if you didn't like it, like if you don't like that, a CCHA model PS3, a dislike is fine as well too. But as I always say, do keep in mind that if you dislike this video, you're going to make this sleepy dog here very, very sad.